So, taking a break from the usual video games and how to run them on an Infinity and those back 3 monitors behind me, I decided I was going to show off more of a physical game, a card game that I've been into called Dominion. Basically, a buddy of mine brought it over one day and he started setting it up, everything where it needed to be, and I looked at the table and thought, what the hell's going on here? So he dragged me through it, almost kicking and screaming, but to this day we play at least once a week. I've showed it to other friends, I've showed it to family, and everybody seems to like it. And I just think to myself, it does get plenty of promotion from word of mouth and internet, but I wonder if someone were to produce a commercial for Dominion, what would that be like?
Okay, all bets are in. Show your cards.
Pocket aces. Again.
You just won $200.
Hooray.
What's wrong?
You know, I wish there was a card game where the money you earned could be used to buy cards that would make the deck better and more fun.
Anything else?
Maybe a race to see who could acquire the most land?
Well, you just hold on to your...
Share.
Hold this. You can tell your Texas Hold'em to
Wait politely.
because you're building your own Dominion! Quite possibly the biggest card game you'll ever see, with 500 base cards and over 2,000 total and counting.
You mean there's more than one Dominion?
Most definitely!
Metal!
That's not all either! There's at least 2 more expansions set to be released, so keep an eye out for Dominion Asylum and Dominion Blood Feed!
Warning, may not actually be future expansions of Dominion.
Better. With all this Dominion, how could one ever get bored?
You'll battle your way through witches, thieves, spies, mandarins, saboteurs, torturers, herbalists, bureaucrats, schemes, governors, curses, and many more on your way to achieve the money you need to buy up all the land.
I got 8 money. That's enough for that last province. Game over.
Dominion. Get Dominionated.
Dominion commercial. Like that would ever happen. So let's dive in.
Amongst the immense variety in a full deck of Dominion cards, there is some common ground that all cards have. I'm going to use these 2 as an example. Where do I start? I know, I'll go from the top down. At the top of each card is the name. Then underneath that is a picture, and depending on what type of card it is, instructions on what to do next, or its value. The bottom of the card is the type of card that it is, and this can also be given away by the color of the card. In the lower left-hand corner is the price of the card, and the rest has nothing to do with gameplay, but in the lower right corner is the Dominion expansion it came from, and if you want to go even lower, you can see the artist's name who made the card's picture as well.
So basically I'm teaching a lot of people how to play a card game and trying to keep the video entertaining still. But with each lesson break, I'm going to give you a little joke. Let's see here. What's better than roses on your piano?
Roses given to your girlfriend. As much as I love this game, setting it up just is enjoyable every time. First, set out all of the money cards. This includes coppers, silvers, golds, platinums as well if you have the prosperity expansion. Then you set up all the victory cards. This includes estates, duchies, and provinces. And once again, if you have prosperity, that would include colonies. However many you set up is dependent on how many players there are in the game. If it's a 2-player game, you set up only 8 victory cards in each pile. In a 3 to 4-player game, you set up 12. Then you set up 10 decks of any of the 156 other cards available. Each deck should have 10 cards, unless it says victory at the bottom. Then, once again, 8 for a 2-player game, and 12 for a 3 to 4-player game.
What's Irish and comes out in spring? Patio furniture.
In Dominion, everybody gets to start on an even playing field. The deck you and everyone else start with will consist of 7 copper cards and 3 estate cards. You shuffle and deal yourself 5 cards, and that is your starting hand. Each turn consists of an action and a buy phase. I'll hit upon that later in the video, however. Once the 5 cards in your hand get used up, your turn is over. Then you discard those and deal 5 more to yourself for your next turn. If you run out of deck cards, shuffle the discards and then deal 5 more. Or if you have, say, only 2 cards left in the deck, deal them, shuffle the discard pile, followed by dealing the remaining 3 cards to yourself. This is pretty much how the play will flow throughout the game.
You know how to cook underwear?
No one does, because that would be ridiculous. Every turn starts with an action phase, but every game starts without action cards in your deck, so I'm going to work backwards from the buy phase. Any yellow card, or gold if you want to be specific, is a treasure card. Play them in any order and total up the value, then buy a card from the ones that are set up. Remember, the cost is in the lower left corner of all the cards. Sometimes you encounter +1 buy. This allows you to split up your total and buy more than 1 card. If you see +1 buy again, you can buy 3 cards, and so on, but the combined value can't go over the total you have to spend. If you have no money, you can take a copper or a curse, since they're both worth 0. And unless otherwise specified, all bought cards go immediately into your discard pile. Some treasure cards have effects, but they're usually explained pretty clearly on the card, unless of course it's a one of plenty card. In those cases, you have to watch the order you play them in, unlike the usual treasure cards. Contraband is a good example of a card you want to play before any other treasure.
What do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea.
It's time for what I've been putting off, the action phase. It's the first move you make and you only get to throw 1 action card. Optionally, you can just skip to the buy phase if you wish. Every action card in this game is unique. No 2 are alike, sometimes similar, but never the same. Just follow what the card says from the top down and you should be fine. As for some common things you see among these cards, I'll outline that for you utilizing this card again. +1 card means draw a card from your deck, put it in your hand. +1 action means play another card that says action on the bottom. This is something you want since it could prolong your turn for a little while. +1 buy, see previous lesson, and +1 coin means add this to your money in the buy phase, but you have to play the card to get the money. It is not automatic. Some action cards are called attack cards. These make everyone else become a victim of what the card says, hopefully helping you out in the process. For example, Militia. It's a card that makes everybody discard down to 3 cards in hand, except the person that played it. Blue cards are reaction cards. They can be played as action cards unless specific circumstances are met that activate them out of turn. If these are met, show the card and do what the bottom half says. Moat is a great example. If played as an action, you get +2 cards. If played as a reaction, you get any attack played against you blocked, and it goes back into your hand for use later. Just remember, the top half of the explanation is the action, and the bottom half is the reaction. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7's the bigger number. So, what are those green cards? Why are they here? Why should I buy them? And why do I have 3 to start with? Well, they are pretty useless until the end of the game. You see, when all of the colonies or provinces are bought, the game ends immediately. At this point, separate out all the green and purple cards from your deck. Total the green, subtract the purple, and if your total is higher than everyone else's, you win. I kind of like having the most crucial cards being the most useless during play. Sure, there's some action victory cards, but they're never worth all that much. However, sometimes 1 point is all you need to win in a game of Dominion. Alternately, the game also ends when 3 of any other card piles are depleted. Oh, I almost forgot, the purple cards, or the curse cards. These are handed out with certain attack cards, and the total used per game is dependent on how many players there are. 10 of them if there's only 2 players, 20 for 3 players, and 30 for 4. They have no purpose other than to gum up your deck, subtract from your victory total, and thoroughly annoy you during play. Some cards allow you to trash other cards, usually in hand. In this case, you put the card you get rid of into the trash pile. Beware though, once it's there, it's never to be used again for the rest of the game.
Dominion, as clear as I try and make this game, it's still gonna have people at each other's throats from time to time. Here's footage of an actual Dominion fight.
I don't agree with how you played that card there. I think you have to play it before this other card. Why? I feel I've played this card quite correctly. I think you can only play it after you play the other one, not before. Oh, I see your point. And I treasure your friendship.
So, Dominion, you may have the base set, but you want more. There's many different expansions so far, and each has something new to add to the game entirely. I'm just going to touch upon this really quickly, right now.
The base set, the original. This gets you started, gives you all the treasure and victory cards needed to play any expansion. Intrigue also includes base cards like treasure and victory cards. This expansion seems to focus on choices and how to make the game bigger, say from 4 players to 8. Seaside. This introduces player mats, tokens, and duration cards that last more than 1 turn. Alchemy. This one brings to the table some powerful action cards and the potion treasure cards needed to buy most of them. Prosperity. It adds colony and platinum cards, expanding the game and adding victory tokens, some more expensive action cards, and unique treasure cards as well. Cornucopia. Introduces prize cards and cards that reward deck variety. Hinterlands. Most of these cards have an effect the instant you buy them. Promo cards. These celebrate milestones in Rio Grande games past. There are 5 so far and can only be found online.